From the High Definition Production Center of Troy University's Broadcast and Digital Network and Troy campuses around the world, this is Troy TrojanVision Weekly.
Hello and welcome to Troy TrojanVision Weekly. We're glad you joined us for this look at what's happening in and around Troy University. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. Well, this week, the Trojans women's basketball team made history, winning their first ever Sun Belt Conference Tournament championship. Ryan Renfro gives us a look at the big win.
It goes back to faith because just as everything seemed to go right for us last night, it seemed like nothing was going right for us tonight. We couldn't find an offense to run that we could get just consistently get buckets.
By the end of the first half, the Trojans found themselves sitting at a 33-30 lead. But by the end of the third quarter, trailed Little Rock 49-47. But that score, along with a little bit of faith, was all the Trojans needed.
The faith, because we kept saying, just stay close, keep it close, keep it close. And of course, at the end, what happened, it was nothing that the coaches called or anything like that.
And as for what happened, big-time players made big-time plays.
I just knew that this was the time for me to take the shot.
ABK, pull up!
ABK's shot gave the Trojans a 61-60 lead in Little Rock, 20 seconds on the clock. And with the clock winding down, victory was in reach.
Call a timeout. Townsend sets it up. Collins. Now Townsend. Ramirez with the block. And the Troy Trojans have won the Sun Belt Women's Basketball Championship.
Every girl that's on the team, we all have a story. And I feel like during that celebration, we felt all the stories that we've shared with each other. And we just love each other, and we believed in each other to pull out the game.
And that story continued as the Trojans found out who they faced in the NCAA Tournament at a selection show party, Trojan Arena, Monday night. Once again, here's Ryan Renfro.
It's only been a few days now since the Troy women's basketball team won its first Sun Belt Conference championship. And in Monday night's selection show, that championship excitement filled Trojan Arena and had the Trojans on the edge of their seats. But that didn't last long.
We're thrilled to be here in Trojan Arena. It's such a great event, NCAA viewing party. We had a great crowd here tonight. So many excited Trojans. So many people are proud of us.
It's phenomenal. There's no words that can describe how I feel or anything like that. It's so unrealistic. I can't believe this has actually happened to me and to, Troy University. So it's amazing to see that our name's across the big screen.
As for one Trojan, waiting for Troy's name to be called was not an easy task.
It's like every time somebody else's name was on there, my heart just dropped. I was like, come on now, quit playing. Just call our name. And then when it happened, I just felt like the game-winning shot again. It's just, I'm happy for our team that we get to experience this together, and we're ready for the road trip.
Trojan Arena erupted as the Troy women's basketball team awaited the announcement of the 2016 NCAA Tournament. The Trojans will now focus in on the next game this Friday at 4 p.m. in Dallas against Oregon State.
The coaches there have built that program, much like what I've been trying to do here. I have a lot of respect for them, but don't know enough about their game plan. I'm about to leave here now and start working on the game plan.
And the 15-seed Trojans will have another chance to make history on Friday against 2-seed Oregon State. So far in the tournament, no 2-seed has ever beaten a 15-seed. But Coach Rigby says her team is more than ready for the challenge.
We're very adept and we're very experienced in swimming upstream, and we're very adept at being the underdog. So this is all we know. So of course we're in this situation again, so sit back and watch us fight.
Ryan Renfro, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Many Troy University students spent at least part of their spring break lounging on a beach. However, there were 30 Troy students that spent their week walking to one. Sarah Singletary explains.
On Wednesday, March 9th, 30 brothers from Troy University's Alpha Tau Omega fraternity walked into Panama City's Pier Park after a grueling 6-day, 128-mile walk that started in Troy.
Walk Hard 2016, the experience, all in all, was probably one of the most rewarding things I've done in a group. But really, the day in and day out was pretty boring. There's not a lot of glory when you're walking through Enterprise, Alabama, no one really knows what you're doing, but knowing what we were going through at the end, in Panama City, made it really all worth it. That's what was so rewarding about it.
I don't even know how to begin to describe it. It was fun. but it was pretty terrible sometimes with just the pain in your feet and your legs. It's pretty exhausting. The first day was 28 miles, and that was, I think, 10 and a half hours of walking.
At the end of the trip, hundreds turned out to cheer on the brothers as they completed their fundraising walk. The walkers were surprised by the level of support.
I can't even begin to really put into words what I felt like. Just seeing just a mass of people on that pier just coming to celebrate us. That was I hadn't really ever felt that before. The adrenaline that just got pumping. I could have walked 128 more miles. I felt like I could anyway. I probably really couldn't have.
You can't beat the feeling of walking into Pier Park and seeing. We were really surprised at the number of people that were there, and then giving the big check to Jeep Sullivan. It was all worth it for sure.
And the big check was even bigger than the brothers originally anticipated as they exceeded their fundraising goal by $5,000.
Oh, it was amazing. Last year they raised $11,000, and then this year we gave the check for $25,000. So we were well beyond our goal.
We talked about $20,000. That was double what we raised last year. So really to see that number on a check, we've been adding it up, trying to we've been talking about there's no way that we raised that much money, but when we really do look at it and see the commitment of the buy-in that each brother had to want to raise that money to for Jeep Sullivan and for what he does, that made it so much more worth it.
Now that it's all said and done, the big question is, would they do it again?
Oh, definitely, 100%. If there's a slot available next year, I'll be doing it again.
Sarah Singletary, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Wednesday morning, Troy University students majoring in psychology had the chance to check out some career possibilities for after they graduate. Austin Cofield has that story.
Hawkins Hall had its own career fair focused towards psychology majors today. Students were invited to come visit to learn a little about future psychology jobs and positions, as well as to make some connections with some local business representatives.
We have a career fair in psychology, and it's actually not related or restricted to just psychology majors. It's related fields, so it could be social work, it could be people interested in counseling. We open up to anybody who wants to attend.
As a psychology major, a lot of things are so broad. You don't know specific careers that you could go into, and even me, even though I wasn't looking specifically in the Alabama area, I definitely got different career ideas that I can look into when I'm job hunting.
This event helps bring together the university and local community to help students gain a better understanding of the psychology side of the business world, as well as introduce them to opportunities where they may gain crucial experience before graduating college.
It helps us partner with the community a little bit, so they know a little bit more about the university and we know more about where to send our students. So it's a win-win for everybody.
I think this type of job fair is great. They get an idea of what they look for, expect when they graduate. Even some of our positions, they could work at right now. If they're looking for internships, we offer that, so that gives them an opportunity to get some experience into, different types of populations before they actually get, make that decision to get into that.
And while preparing for the future by securing jobs and internships may sound scary and intimidating to some students, the business representatives made sure to answer any questions and provide students with a better plan for the future.
They knew what kind of questions to ask, what kind of questions to answer, and just did very, very good job at giving everyone the information they needed to pursue a possible internship or employment with their company.
Austin Cofield, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Frequency is Troy University's vocal jazz ensemble, and this week the group invited some special guests to come and participate in a 2-day clinic on campus. Haley Greathouse has the details.
It has been said that practice makes perfect, but sometimes groups need an intensive session to get to the next level.
My wife and colleague working in vocal jazz and I are going to be giving clinics and workshops to Frequency, which is the premier vocal jazz ensemble here at Troy University, and really probably the premier group in the state. They're really phenomenal. But we're going to be giving them clinics to take them from where they're performing now, which is at a really high level, to maybe even a higher level.
Bringing in professionals for some extra help is a tradition for Frequency, and this year's guests have become familiar faces.
Ever since 2009, when I first started Frequency, I tried to bring one of the greats on campus at least once a year, because I think it's important that they get to work with the best of the best. So Carrie and Joy, actually, this is their third year.
Students have been taught the basics, but this workshop is allowing them to fine-tune their skills.
This workshop is kind of like helping me because we have this singing test where we like brighten our sound by raising up our cheeks and stuff. And so it's kind of like helping me learn how to brighten sound, also showing how to like use breath support, how to like crescendo and like back off and all this kind of stuff. And I think it's really helping me become a better singer.
Haley Greathouse, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
It's not unusual to see college students trying to get in shape, especially to get ready for swimsuit season. However, as Jordan Elston shows us, there's a new place on campus where students can exercise their bodies while exercising their minds: the library.
The Troy University Library has an unexpected addition: exercise bikes.
Right now we have 3 exercise bikes that you can also mount a laptop or a book on, and so you can study while you exercise.
The bikes were added just before the beginning of spring break and are believed to help students retain information.
I just thought it was a great idea. I read an article about the bikes, and if you go to the company's website, I think this is where I saw the information, they talked about some studies that say if you exercise while you study, you have a higher retention rate. It can just be a pick-me-up if you want. You know, if you've been studying for a long time, you can also go check out a movie and watch it on your laptop while you exercise if you want. So there are a lot of different things you can do.
Schaefer says that the ultimate goal is to get more students to visit the library.
The biggest thing that I hope is it will get them more interested in the library. We have seen a big increase in the amount of use of the library in the last 2 years. From 2014 to 15, we had 40,000 more visits to the library, and we're also seeing it tick upward again this year for the first 2 months. And so we think it's going to make people want to come to the library, which is what we're all about.
We're going to take a short break, but when we return, we'll see the variety of activities in this year's Spring Greek Week competitions. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
When you're out there, there's no telling what you'll find.
I see it! I see it! Oh, look at you.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
This is Dr. Daniel Smith. He's an expert in domestic and international economics. But his proudest achievement is connecting with his students and helping them accomplish more than they ever thought possible. That's the warrior spirit, and it's alive and well at Troy University. Feel it at troy.edu/spirit.
Now back to Troy Trojan Vision News Weekly.
This week, Troy's fraternities and sororities are battling it out to see who's on top in the Greek community in the Greek Week competitions. And Tuesday night, it was a battle of the brains. Ryan Renfro has the details.
Correct answer.
On Tuesday night, members of Troy University's Greek organizations packed into Trojan Arena to compete in the Greek Trivia Night, the second competition in this year's Greek Week, and a competition that was created just last year.
It's just a great way to work off people's talents besides just their athleticism. Greek Week in the past was all about, the Greek games and different athletic events that we held and like the Greek sing that we do. So I wanted to be able to highlight people who like to use their brain and like to study.
And those brains were put to the test as Greeks answered questions based on founding dates on Troy's campus and mascots and colors of each Greek organization. And if you ask the participants themselves, the trivia night has been a good balance to the Greek Week competitions.
Yeah, I think it evens everything out. Most fraternities are about showing your different talents, be it intramurals or grades or whatever, and this kind of rounds it out and exemplifies that by showing, knowledge as opposed to just sports.
Contestants' knowledge of Troy and Greek history was put to the test, and some of the participants even say that some of the questions threw them off guard.
Yeah, a few of them threw me off, especially about the faculty and staff affiliations. I don't think a lot of people were expecting that.
I really just got to know a lot more about the NPHC fraternities and sororities, and just kind of about their heritage and what makes them what they are. And so that was really cool, just kind of getting to associate with the Kappas who's on our team, just getting to know more about them. So that was good.
And as far as the rest of Greek Week goes, board members simply hope to bring everyone together.
The whole point of Greek Week is to really unite and bond the Greek community. So we're hoping that the teams of Greek Week will have a really good chance to bond, get to know each other a little bit better, and also just have a great time with their organizations as well.
Ryan Renfro, Troy, TrojanVision News.
A war between Troy's Greek organizations broke out in the Trojan Center as a part of Greek Week. And the Greeks' weapon of choice? Quarters. Sarah Singletary explains.
Greek Week is in full swing at Troy University, creating competitions that test the knowledge, athleticism, creativity, and now generosity of the Greek organizations. Quarter Awards provides the Greek Week teams with a chance to give back to the community. And although the event is titled Quarter Wars, more than just quarters count towards a team's positive money.
Quarters count positive and nickels and dimes count negative, and if they're rolled, no matter what the money is, counts as double, and then cash also counts as positive.
And while this event is ultimately for the Greek Week philanthropies, all donations remain competitive.
But what you want to do is put the positive money in your own organization's bucket and the negative money in your opposing team's buckets.
Quarter Wars acts as another opportunity for the 5 Greek teams to compete against each other in hopes of coming out on top at the end of the Greek Week competitions. But today, each team has one goal in mind: to collect the most positive money and get ahead.
The winning team will get the most points for Quarter Wars, but every team benefits because all the money that's raised will go to our philanthropies, which are Relay for Life, the Hope Project, and Troy Dance Marathon.
The winners of the Quarter Wars competition will be announced by Friday. Sarah Singletary, Troy, TrojanVision News.
The Quarter Wars competition was about making money, but Wednesday night, Greeks were shaking their money makers as they showed off their best dance moves in the Greek scene. Samantha Charles has the details.
Greeks and non-Greeks alike filed into Trojan Arena, where Greek Week continued with Greek Sing, an event where fraternities and sororities competed in a dance-off and a lip-sync battle.
Greek Sing is a lip-sync competition between all the fraternities and sororities, and along with lip-syncing, they all dance, and it's a great competition. It's probably the biggest event out of all of Greek Week.
The rules for this year's competition were that each organization had to incorporate a specific song into their dance, and they also had to have a member lip-syncing throughout the entire performance.
It's like homecoming dance with lip syncing, so we were excited about it, so we just kind of made up like a dance and then decided to put some sisters in lip syncing.
You have to have one person lip singing the song at all times, and your organization is given a certain song and they have to play 30 consecutive seconds of that song.
Participants said that months of practice went into preparing for this event.
I know my organization has been practicing since we got back from Christmas break, so they've been practicing for a few months for this.
The winners of Greek Sing will be announced at the Order of Omega banquet this Sunday at 6 p.m. Samantha Charles, Troy, TrojanVision News.
While the Greek Sing allowed Greeks to show off their fancy footwork, Wednesday afternoon the competition was actually a little more physical. The fraternities and sororities showed how good they are at dodging a ball, as a playground favorite made its way into the Greek Week activities. Seth Hawk has the details.
Wednesday, Troy University's fraternities and sororities participated in the Schoolyard Favorite, the game of dodgeball.
So today we have dodgeball, and basically all the sororities play against each other and all the fraternities play against each other. So we draw them out, and basically whoever wins gets the most points, and there's going to be first, second, and third place.
This game was so important to Greek Week that some players came to play right after giving blood.
Just got off the table giving blood, came out here and did this real quick. I rolled off the table at 4 o'clock and just ran over here real quick.
Feeling fine. A little tired, but it's all right.
Both the fraternities and sororities gave it all they had, all for the sake of winning Greek Week.
It's definitely not the biggest thing, but it's definitely part of it goes into what we're trying to accomplish here winning Greek Week.
I mean, it's a lot of fun, a heated event. We needed to get some guys to come out here and participate, and we had a good time.
The fraternities and sororities of Troy will be participating in a few more activities later on in the week, including the big Greek Week games on Friday afternoon. Seth Hawk, Troy, TrojanVision News.
We're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we'll hear some offerings from our friends at Troy Public Radio. So don't touch that dial.
I was afraid of that.
Well, guess it's time to get you fixed.
Your pets will start fooling around sooner than you think.
Go on, get out of here!
Accidental litters lead to millions killed in shelters each year. Help prevent more. Fix at month 4.
This is Thomas. During the day, he works in research. And at night, he's a warrior. Soon he'll have a degree from Troy University, a historic and affordable public university with flexible online and in-class courses, and professors who know their students by name. Do what you love and be great at it. That's the warrior spirit. Learn more at troy.edu/workingwarrior.
Now back to Troy TrojanVision News Weekly.
Each week we take some time to hear some of the work done by our broadcast partners at Troy Public Radio. As we do each week, we'll get another sample of Talk of Troy, the student-produced newscast of Troy Public Radio. Now let's take a listen.
It's the Talk of Troy. Voices and sounds from the campuses of Troy University. I'm Thomas Gleaton. This weekend, an award-winning documentary about Pakistani women and their struggle for equality will be shown on the Dothan campus. Producer Kenya Taylor has the story.
There is a moment when you have to choose whether to be silent or to stand up.
In observation of Women's History Month, Troy University is presenting a free public screening of the 2015 documentary film, He Named Me Malala. The film tells the story of young female activist Malala Yousafzai, who was shot in the face by the Taliban for fighting for women's educational rights.
They shot me on the left side of my head. They thought that the bullet would silence us. I am the same Malala.
The screening will take place at 2 p.m. on Sunday, March 20th at the Dothan campus. For more information, visit troy.edu/news. For the Talk of Troy, I'm Kenya Taylor.
The keynote speaker for this year's Helen Keller Lecture Series is someone who is no stranger to the stage. Jazz pianist and composer Marcus Roberts has been blind since childhood, and as he told the audience at his talk on March 3rd, his disability hasn't stopped him from working with performers like Wynton Marsalis.
When you have a disability, we often fall for the term dis.
Robert's life and career has been shaped by his blindness, and he encourages parents of visually disabled children to let them fully explore the world.
They have to navigate the difficult challenges associated with being disabled while feeling physically and emotionally secure.
Robert's achievements have earned him an honorary doctorate from the Juilliard School and the 1998 Helen Keller Personal Achievement Award. I'm Thomas Gleaton, and you've been listening to The Talk of Troy, a production of Troy Public Radio.
Throughout the week, Troy Public Radio can be heard on 89.9 in Troy and Montgomery, 88.7 in Dothan, and 91.7 in Phoenix City. And now for our last segment, the Trojan women's basketball team are the Sun Belt Conference champions. In this week's Trojan Talk, we'll hear from head coach Chandler Rigby about the championship. Hello and welcome to Trojan Talk. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. Today, my guest is none other than Chandler Rigby, who is on Cloud 9. We're glad you joined us here from your visit on Cloud 9 from winning the Sun Belt Conference Championship this weekend. First off, congratulations.
Thank you so much. We're so thankful for all the success we've had since I was here last.
And you know, we last time you sat here, we talked about where you wanted to be in the season and how you wanted to play it, and you played your game. Things went well. There were some ups and some downs, including a nasty, losing streak in the middle of it.
Yes.
But to come out and win the conference championship, I know it's got to be an exciting feeling.
It's amazing. I would say it's once in a lifetime, but unfortunately, a lot of coaches don't get to experience this, so it's just amazing.
And now let's talk a little bit about the conference tournament, because obviously, for those that are out there who have been under a rock in the Trojan Nation, You won the conference championship against Little Rock in an amazing game. But before we get to Little Rock, let's talk a little about how you got there, because you had 2 games you had to play going into it, and it was, talk about, I guess, making your progression through the tournament to get to that championship game. So
I would say I would describe it as nothing was easy, but everything was perfect. That's the way I would describe it, because we came up against South Alabama first. The unspoken worry in the room was that we had lost the last 2 years in a row in the first game. So getting over that game, and South Alabama had beat us twice in the season, so getting over that game was a big leap. And we could not shoot the ball in that game. I mean, we shot our lowest percentage of the season. But thanks to our bench, we had some players come off the bench and help us, and we ended up pulling ahead, forcing 8 turnovers in a row at the end of the third, beginning of the fourth, and pulling out the win there. So it's like at that point we felt unstoppable. And then, of course, the Arkansas State game, that was one of those, almost probably one of the best games you played all season. So definitely. I felt like it was almost perfect. We shot great. They shot great. It was kind of like an NBA game. Everybody was scoring on both ends, just doing that, score. And they had some runs in there where they got ahead of us and got a lead, but the team never really let it get away from them. And just ended up beating the #1 seed, the team that went 19-1 in the conference. They was a fully senior-laden team. It was supposed to be their year. We've been told over and over this was Arkansas State's year. And just to be able to get that win, it was huge. And of course, Little Rock, the game that will live in infamy in Trojan history. Bum, bum, bum. But the thing was, once again, Arkansas State was such a great game, but then Little Rock, that's a tough thing. Ugly. It was a good thing. It's a way to make it. 2 things that worried me about that. First of all, it's very hard to get your emotions up. That was a program changer for us to beat Arkansas State in that tournament right there. So our emotions were high. It's not like you just beat any other team or a team's used to going to the tournament and winning 2 games in a row. So many firsts for us happened there, and we were so high and excited. I was so worried about the team's emotions, and I talked to them about that, about getting some rest, actually unplugging from your phone and getting some rest, hydration, let yourself come down from this. I was worried about getting up the next day and playing as well. And the other thing I was worried about is Joe Foley, the head coach from UALR. He's a mastermind at slowing the game down, which is what we hate. So those 2 things I was worried about, and both of them proved to be true to a certain extent. We came out not shooting well. We came out not playing well at all, and a lot of that's because they're so good. We needed our post players to play well. That wasn't their best game. We had post players come off the bench and do tremendous. Latia Filsame, she came in and did a tremendous job. And Caitlin Ramirez came back in there and did a pretty important thing at the end, though. Very important. Well, let's talk about that last 20 or so seconds, because, the ABK, the heart of this team, gets the winning basket. And you really couldn't write the story. Everything that went down in the last 20 seconds was almost like picture perfect. Like it should be on a Hollywood screenplay or something like that. You couldn't write it any better. And if you knew the backstory with Ashley Beverly Kelly taking the last shot, you wouldn't even believe it. But we have gone over and over and over with her as coaches about having the confidence to take the last shot, because for 3 years now she's never wanted the ball at the end. She's also an unbeatable once she gets going, but at the end she didn't want the ball, and we've talked about it. We've looked up psychological reasons for that. We've talked through everything we can. And at the end of that game, which is what you want to see, is growth in a player. At the right moment, she commanded the ball and took it in and scored like she was shooting off the gun, like a rebounder. Yep. And it was just a beautiful moment because we went ahead after such a hard battle, but also because of the growth in her. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, you take it down the other end of the court, 20 so seconds left on there, and there's a lot of time for Little Rock to score, and then Caitlin comes up big. Yes, the timing was right. The player that shot it was right. Her angle was right. Her confidence level was right to do that, to instinctively do that. Because if she would have fouled her, they would have won. They would have went to the free throw line probably and won. So just everything went right there. It was amazing. It's an amazing experience, and I know the entire Trojan Nation is behind you as you're heading to Oregon State to play them in the first round of the tournament. I wish we could talk more. We're running out of time here, but everybody can tune in on Friday to see you guys in action against Oregon State. Yes, we're very excited. We hope to make you proud. I hope you make me proud, and I want to see a lot more games. I want to see at least maybe 4 or 5 more games on your schedule. Why not? So let's go for that. So Chanda, once again, congratulations and good luck this week. Thank you so much. Thank you. And thank you for joining us on today's edition of Trojan Talk.
And that's what happened on the 3rd week of March 2016. To find out what's happening throughout the week, you can tune into Troy Trojan Vision News at 5, 6:30, and 10:30, Monday through Friday. or anytime by following us on Twitter at Troy TV News. Also, feel free to like our Troy TrojanVision News fan page on Facebook to see links to online content from Troy TrojanVision News. We hope you join us again next week for another edition of Troy TrojanVision Weekly. I've been your host, Aaron Taylor. Have a good week.